Biohazard warning. Entering contaminated zone. Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only. Backup activated. System rebooted.
What's going on, Guardians, gamers, agents, and citizens alike? This is your man Sly, and what an awesome weekend, right? I've been telling people since the closed beta to watch out for this game, that it might even be the next big MMORPG game to sweep the world, and it looks like it's already doing that. Ubisoft had a little side mission for the beta testers out there, and that was to kill as many bosses in the Dark Zone that you could find. In one single day, almost 300 million bosses were taken down in the Dark Zone alone. That doesn't count the players who never even bothered with the DZ. It's a staggering amount of numbers and a small slice of what's to come. If you haven't already, there is still a full day left and, fingers crossed, maybe even a few extra days of beta play, if Ubisoft is feeling up for it. But with such a short amount of time left until the game's launch, it would seem pretty doubtful. Either way, I have played both the closed beta and the open beta to its fullest, and I want to go over some of the critical points that you need to know, which mistakes to avoid, and how to start off your agent as soon as March 8th turns the corner. So with that said, let's get this fiesta started, and first on the block, I want to run over gear and armor. As you have no doubt seen by now, even the smallest piece of gear worn can have a dramatic difference in the overall stat of your character. Those stats are broken down into three categories: DPS, health, and tech. First up, let's go over DPS, which stands for damage per second. This is just an average estimate of your character's level with whatever weapon is currently equipped. Health, well, that's a no-brainer. It's the amount of total HP that you have, but notice the smaller stats below that one. Under health, you have total stamina. Your stamina determines the number of hits you can take before you are completely downed. The last stat is your tech stat with electronics. Now, increasing this skill level will not only increase your total effectiveness of your deployable skill, but also the regeneration speed at which they can be deployed again. These three stats are a good place to start when aiming for a certain quote-unquote class build. Now, even though there aren't any official classes within the division, these separate stats make it clear that there will be unspoken tanks, combat engineers, medics, healers, whatever you want to call them. What I'm about to urge you guys to do might not be what you will hear elsewhere. If you want to survive, you need health, plain and simple. It is absolutely critical, and if you're one of the lone wolves out there, even more so. Every single player I encountered or teamed up with shot for DPS all the way, so much so that their health was barely over 1500, and it showed at every encounter. Now, just like most games you play, you will do damage based on your level, no matter what game. Of course, weapons absolutely matter, but if you're in a firefight against another player, and one player has a DPS score of, say, 5,000, and he has very little health, and another that he's going against that's equally leveled is a tank with almost 6,000 health and 2,000 DPS, if they're equally leveled, then the amount of extra damage given by the higher DPS is very minimal compared to what you can withstand. Sure, he does more damage, but also 6 bullets from your AR will put him down instantly. Now, later in the game, there will be a need for one or the other, and maybe even a medley where you can find gear that will give you both. But if you want to hang in there for right now, don't worry about DPS that much, go for health. Your guns will kill regardless, just make sure you find the right ones. One quick thing I want to mention about gear is the armor rating. Now, it's common sense that if you have an armor piece at, say, 20, then of course the piece at 25 will give you plus 5 more armor, but be wary of that route. Some pieces that are higher in armor could completely demolish your stats. Whether it's worth it or not, that's completely up to you and up for you to decide. But unless you're looking at a dramatic increase in armor, don't destroy your stats over it, because sooner or later you will find what you need. For instance, take a look at these knee pads. I'm wearing an armor rating of 35 and I have a better pair at 48, but doing so drops my health by almost 800 points. Is it a fair trade? You're going to have to make tons of choices like this. If you're not sure, don't switch, just wait it out until you find the right setup. So, speaking of right ones, let's just jump right into it. The weapons. There is a little something for everyone in the division, whether you're a long-range sniper, a close combat expert, the tech explosives guy, or the I kill, it doesn't matter with what kind of dude. If that's you, then you're in for a treat, guys. We have seen a small sampling of the weapons in the beta, and no doubt more will be unlocked. So for right now, I'm just going to keep this simple. First of all, try everything. Why? Just because. Just because one weapon has like 50 more DPS than another doesn't matter, try it out. DPS doesn't mean shit if you cannot hit your opponent. When a weapon drops, or if you're looking to buy, make sure that your stats are high enough to support it and you know if it's an assault rifle or a marksman weapon. The SCAR is a very good example. It can be both an assault rifle that is full auto or a single shot semi-automatic weapon that is best used with a scope. Now you can tell the difference by the little logo underneath the name. Once you mod a weapon, it will say specialized no matter what it is, but if you see 3 bullets side by side, then you know it's full auto assault weapon. If you see a small scope with a single bullet kind of slanted sidewards, then it's a single shot marksman. If you like weapons with max stability, then the submachine guns will be your weapon of choice. Now I use the Black Market T821 submachine gun and it doesn't move even the slightest bit up or down, as you can see here. It was absolutely great, but it gives stability for shitty range and a low mag in return. Choices you will no doubt have to make. So like I said, try them all and see which fits you best. Once you find your favorite type, here is what to look for. Now once you view a weapon in your inventory, look all the way to the bottom right. It will show you the damage per bullet, rate of fire, and magazine size. What you want to look for is the highest damage weapon within your favorite weapon type. You're going to aim for the most damage with the highest rate of fire. Now you won't always find the perfect setup, you're going to have to make it yourself. You can squeeze out some more damage, bullets, and range with the right mods, so keep an eye out for modifications. They have a huge impact when trying to tame an unruly machine gun. So if you're simply looking for my opinion on weapons, then I'll go ahead and tell you my favorites of the beta. That was the T821 submachine gun and the classic M1A marksman rifle. With the right attachments like you see here, the M1A does over 2,000 damage per bullet, and with a 13 round clip, you can use it in the closer ranges if you need be, or far away as the head seeker it can be. Keep an eye out for the M1A, it is the answer to everything. Of course, if you stuck it out in the dark zone long enough, then you always shoot for the exotic high-end weapon. The open beta's high-end assault weapon this time around was the Liberator. Now, it was definitely a beast, but it had its recoil and magazine issues. If you could mod it enough to get the recoil down a bit and add a few more bullets, you could not beat the damage it did per bullet at that rate of fire. But I still ended up switching back to my M1A. Finally, let's talk about the biggest unknown factor in the game. Us, me, you, them. Your biggest threat in the game isn't the bosses, it's not the AIs that come running. When you call in an extraction, it's the agent who appears friendly when you're trying to extract your contaminated items. It's best if you're always in a team of 4 while you're in the dark zone. But if you decide to go in alone, or if there are just 2 of you, always go to the extraction zone that you're familiar with. Set up in a secure spot where you can hide and know which way your closest exit will be if shit hits the fan. When I'm in the dark zone by myself, I have a simple rule of thumb. 6 people at the extraction, run. Run away to the farthest extraction possible and set up over there. You can only lift 5 bags off of 1 extraction chopper, and if you see players at the extraction zone with no hazmat bags on their back, it's because they're waiting to grab yours. Now, like I said, when I'm in there by myself and I see 5 or 6 players swarm my extraction, I simply leave. Others will come and they will keep themselves busy. In the meantime, you could slip away unnoticed with your loot and extract elsewhere, while they all go out and start a war. Once you have secured your goods, then you're free to do whatever. Come back, get revenge. But remember, loot first, your pride second. And that about sums up the need to know basics on how to survive the Division. There will be a lot more skills unlocked, weapons defined, and areas to explore once the game debuts on March 8th. There could even be some new stats or items to equip that completely change the game. Nobody knows for sure, but stick to what I told you. Relay this to your friends on your team and you will be successful. Remember, 3/4 of the players in there go straight for high DPS. They have absolutely no health, and while their bark might be strong, stick it out and their weaknesses will definitely show. That is, after your loot bag is safe. But that wraps it up for me, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the Division, or if you have anything you were excited about, let me know in the comments below. I plan to cover everything, or at least as much as I can, about the game, so stay tuned as new things are discovered and shared. If you want to keep up to date with everything Sly Nation, Destiny, or the Division, hit me up on Twitter at Sly Nation. That is the best place to find my new vids and updates to our favorite games. See you guys, hope your weekend was freaking amazing, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, this is your man Sly. Done, gone, and out.